You're gonna build a horror game in 10 minutes in Fortnite. First things first is open UEFN and then create a new project. Select blank as a template and then give it a name. And I'm gonna go down here to my prefabs and I'm gonna type in haunted. And I'm gonna go for the haunted mansion and just drag that into my project. Perfect place for a scary game. You can go onto Sketchfab like I did and grab one of these Five Nights at Freddy's guides. Of course, you can't publish with that because you don't have the rights for that. However, you can use it for testing, or you can grab this little fella here, which we'll be using in this video, the not so cute bear, and go ahead and download the model. And you're gonna see a source folder and textures folder for this particular guy. We're gonna do model.fbx and drag it in and click import all. We're now gonna grab the textures and drag those in as well. I'm now gonna right click and go to material and call this matte for cute material. He's a cute bear. Double click cute, just drag those textures like so here into my material. Okay, blue goes into normal, all right? This one right here is our ambient occlusion. This one right here is our ambient occlusion. This pink one here is our base color, and this white one here is our roughness. And this one here is our roughness. We don't want a shiny teddy bear. Right click, blueprint class, building prop, and we're gonna call this cute BP for cute blueprint. Double click it. I'm gonna click add, scroll down to skeletal mesh, press enter. On the right hand side, I'm gonna select my skeletal mesh here, like so. I'm also going to select a material, my cute material. Lastly, I'm gonna select an animation to play, which is the one that was imported called model animation. And look at our little feller just walk around, so cute. Now, if you want, you could literally just drag your little dude right in here. Oh, so cute. Let's go ahead and move him into a better spot. Now, to detect player movement, I'm gonna go ahead and add a mutator zone. So in Fortnite devices, I'm gonna type in mutator, like so. I'm gonna change the width and the depth and the heights. Now I wanna attach some things to our bear, but we really can't at this point because of limitations. I'm gonna go into our bear and create a new blueprint called building prop and empty object. I'm gonna grab that and just place it right here on the screen, okay? And then over here on the right-hand side, I'm gonna rename that to bear mover. Then I'm gonna grab the cute BP, right click, attach to bear mover. I'm gonna select my mutator, right click, attach to bear mover. Now when I move the bear mover, he will move with me. Now let's get our bear to move. Chase the player, verse explorer, right click, add new verse file, open up our code. I've already got some code to get the enemy to follow the player. You can download that in the video description. Going to add some imports that we need. Now, whenever the player goes in front of the mutator, we want the bear to start chasing the player. So let's add our mutator here. Let's subscribe to those mutator events. Let's create our callback function for the mutator event. If the monster spots the player the first time, let's have the monster chase the player. If the player goes in the mutator zone a second time, let's show a cinematic and end the game. So if monster spotted player equals true, end the game. If not, it's the first time encounter. And then have the enemy follow the player. But we haven't referenced the enemy yet, so let's do that now. Add my agent to on player spotted. Now we're gonna need a flashlight too, so let's add an item granter. Let's grab our player and let's grant our flashlight. Now let's add some music and sound effects to make this terrifying. Devices, radio device. Just drag it anywhere. Now you're gonna need some songs and sound effects. Create an audio folder in your assets. I get all of my music and sound effects from Epidemic Sound. I pay for this service, but any .wav file will work. drag the WAV files into your project. In our music, we're going to have game music and chase music when you've been spotted. So game music, right-click, create cue, and then chase music, right-click, and create cue. On this radio here, we'll rename this to game music, change the audio file to your new cue. I'll change the volume to 1.5, limit audio distance, turn off. Alt drag that radio to create another one, rename this one to chase music. All the settings are the same except change the music to your chase music. Now we need a sound effect for when the bear screams at us. Fortnite devices, audio player. I'm gonna right click, attach to our bear mover, change the sound effect to the one that you want, volume 2, play on hit off, user functions, add an element here, select your mutator zone, then on player entering zone, click that. That way it'll play whenever the player enters into that zone. Back in our code, let's add our radios and register the player for those devices. Let's make sure the chase music isn't playing, and then let's register our player. And let's make sure our radio is playing. Now one more thing is we need to set some chase music and stop the game music. Save that. Now let's add a creepy cinematic for when you're caught twice. Go find some random spot in your building. Let's add a second bear so the camera shows that when the game ends. Grab your skeletal mesh. Double click him, select your material, and save. Now right click, go to cinematics and level sequence. You are toast. That means you lost. Double click that. Now, click this little camera icon here. Move your camera to a position that you kind of like. Now click track, actor to sequence, and search for your new model. Click this star to make sure that it's solid. Under animation, click animation, then select your animation. He's a little too high up. Pan the screen to see him walk like a creepy doll. Now select your camera transform. Press enter, scroll over a little bit, press enter again, and zoom in. Hello. Close the sequencer, go to devices, and search for cinematic. Add a cinematic sequencer device. For your sequence, select the new You Are Toast. Back in our code, let's add it. Down here in on player spotted, if we've been spotted the second time, let's first off dispose of our monster, then end cinematic.play. One last thing we need to do is when they're spotted the first time, let's go ahead and update that variable. Go to verse, build verse code, go to your creative devices, and drag in your horror game device. With our code in the game, we just need to add one more device. Go over to our devices and type in item granter. Drag that in anywhere. Go to item list, expand that, and search for flashlight, equip granted item on. Now select your code device, your horror game. For your monster mutator, select mutator zone. For your monster, select bear mover. For your flashlight granter, select item granter. For your radio device game, select your game music. For your radio device chase, select your chase music. And for your end cinematic, select the cinematic sequence device. We are so close now! But it's not scary with all those terrible lights everywhere. Go over to your world settings. Then disable all time of day managers. Ooh, now it's really, really dark. You can change lit to unlit so you can still move around. To get out of your camera mode, click this button here. Let's move the player to a better spot. Now, if you feel like it's a little bit too dark, you can always click this plus button and add a light, rectangular or spot or point. We'll do rectangular light. I will move this over like so, move it up. In the details, I will change the light color to orange and I will reduce the intensity to 0.5. Now all we need to do is build and test this. Well, moment of truth. Let's see if our scary game is scary. Not at all, right? Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Okay, yep. Just a normal house. Just running through. Alright, let's try this again. Okay. You know what? We're just gonna make a run for it. Haha, you can't find me out here. Oh, I'm trapped. Well, that's it, everyone. That's how you make a horror game with UEFN in Fortnite Creative 2.0. If you have other game ideas you want me to teach, just let me know in the comments and subscribe.